Today we are going to talk about a recently released American thriller and suspense film called Jia Searching for the Murder. The plot is compact and not dragging, with a stunning and stimulating visual effect that should not be missed. At the beginning of the story, the coroner bent down to examine the body and found that the woman's wide-eyed eyes were staring at him. The coroner naturally did not hesitate and was also observing carefully until no abnormalities were found before leaving. Only then did the woman dare to gasp for breath. The woman's name is Chloe, and her brother Adi and her boyfriend Shohei are planning a robbery together. They want to share some difficulties with Chloe because Chloe's father recently committed suicide and no one has paid off the mortgage. They are urging for a letter from the north. Now Chloe urgently needs a sum of money. He is still just a sophomore forensic student and can't afford to repay it, but Chloe doesn't know what Little Black 2 did for him. Shohei and his companions put on their headsets and began to take action. As soon as they entered, they were bombarded by a bald man holding a long spear and shot Shohei. Shohei didn't forget to ask Adi to run away quickly. The timid and cowardly Adi drove away quickly without hesitation, while Shohei was transported by the police to the morgue. Adi returned home and met Chloe, who was cooking. Chloe saw his tense expression. Don't ask him what happened. He truthfully explained the story to Chloe. Chloe was initially scared, but soon calmed down. After confirming with Artie, he learned that there was no one on the way and saw him go home. Artie cleverly burned back the car he was driving, and the car also arrived. Chloe thought to himself, as long as he hides at home for a while, he will pass by. Artie remembered again that Shohei's phone had records of their planned robbery. If the police saw the phone, they would quickly lock him in. Chloe decided to retrieve his phone before the police autopsy tomorrow morning. They had planned to climb over the wall and enter the morgue, but surveillance cameras were everywhere. It seemed that in order to enter the morgue, they had to lie down and enter. Chloe, who was originally a student of art, came up with a risky solution. He and Art first bought a bottle of banned drug and injected it into his body. After 30 minutes, he would remain in a coma, resembling a dead person. He also specifically instructed Aji to wait for his body to cool down before calling the police so as not to be rescued. When Crow woke up, he was already in the morgue. He checked the several corpses beside him, none of which were black. He groped his way to an operating room and stepped on a sticky object on his feet. He carefully began to see bright red blood, and turning on the light startled him even more. The bloody body lay on the bed, and he switched to the green kung fu next to it and found the evidence room. The object on Shohei's body must be inside. When he looked through the glass to check the situation inside, the coroner flashed by, which scared him a lot. He then realized that the coroner inside was about to come out, and he remembered that there was a bit of noise before the lights were turned off. The coroner heard the sound and came to check, but didn't find anything, so he left. Chloe secretly followed the coroner and discovered that he was trading something with a fat man. After they left, Chloe finally found Little Black. He thought Shohei was dead, but judging from the situation in front of him, it's not like that. Opening the cup, he found a long cut on Shohei's body, and he instantly understood what was just inside the box. Chloe found the coroner, preparing to steal the key and unlock it for Little Black. At this moment, the coroner was pouring his heart and lungs out, but he didn't hear anything at all. Chloe took the key, opened the chain, and with his encouragement, Little Black endured the pain and walked slowly to the door. Chloe tried for a long time before opening the first door. When he arrived at the second door, the coroner discovered through surveillance that his remote-controlled crawling had stopped. Chloe couldn't open it, so the coroner put on a mask and leveled it. He directly knocked out the two guns. Chloe struggled to open his eyes, with Little Black beside him. In the blink of an eye, he found the coroner sharpening his knife. Chloe begged the coroner not to harm them. He will keep his mouth shut about what's going on here. The coroner said that unemployed vagrants like them have no value in life and no contribution to society, so giving their parts to those in need is the right way. Chloe could sense that he was a pervert. He told the demonstrator that he was studying forensic medicine to find the truth and contribute to society, not what he thought. The idle person even claimed that his father had recently committed suicide, putting the whole family in extreme trouble, but the coroner felt that he was just selling pity.
You are a sick man.
The cure. After finishing speaking, he took out the bright red liver and put it in a box for storage. He then looked at his watch and left for the time being, ready to deliver the goods. Chloe moved down and finally reached for it with both hands. She opened her ankle chains and slowly pushed the hospital bed closer. The pain of the surgical knife cutting the flesh made him feel relieved. He looked again and saw a chainsaw. He gritted his teeth and finally cut open the chain. The coroner returned and found that the person was not there. He picked up a hacksaw and a bamboo cabinet to check, and Chloe, who was hiding, was too big to breathe. After the coroner left, Chloe slammed to the ground under the bed and took the liquid bullet to the evidence room. He sprayed the liquid bullet at him and smashed the lock after it was frozen and shattered. He found a small black object on the shelf, and when he was flipping through his phone, he heard someone come in. In a hurry, he picked up a pistol and hid. The coroner found a messy box on the ground and rummaged through it to find a mobile phone. Chloe immediately pointed a gun at the coroner and asked him to return the phone to him. Seeing the coroner's unwavering determination, Chloe fired a shot into his eyes, but it turned out to be a toy gun. No wonder Little Black was killed. Chloe quickly ran away, and the demonstrator opened Little Black's eyes, brushed his face, and opened his phone. Finally, he knew why Chloe came here. Chloe arrived at the office, dialed Addie's phone, and urged Attorney, who was watching the wind nearby, to quickly leave this dangerous place. In no time, the demonstrator brought the evil dog to Chloe and gave a command. The dog chased wildly, and Chloe ran for a long time. Chloe hid in the shelf, but the dog missed it and returned. Fortunately, Chloe came up with a quick idea and threw the liver in the box out of the door. The bad dog was attracted and escaped the disaster. Chloe arrived at the surveillance room and found that a police officer had entered outside the door. It was the police officer reported by Artie. Chloe remotely opened the door and ran out with all his might. When he opened the second door, he bumped into the police officer. In a panic, Chloe stuttered and finally explained what had happened here. The police reassured him that he had long felt that there was something wrong with the coroner and was ready to go in and take the coroner to justice. Chloe also reminded him to be careful. The police officer smiled and agreed. Suddenly, Troy raised a fake gun and temporarily deterred Blackwell. As they gradually exited the door, the coroner told the black police that it was a fake gun. The black police escaped and the guy was about to kill them both. The coroner also told him that leaving a living mouth would be useful. In this gap, Chloe smashed at the black police officer, and the two quickly fled. They were about to run towards the door but were closed. Audie tried to climb over the wall, but was knocked down by e-commerce and crazily bitten by vicious dogs. Chloe couldn't pull it away, so he used his own body to conduct electricity, which scared the evil dog away, and for a while, he couldn't get out. The two of them turned back and found a passage to drill in, tightening their grip. When the black police and coroner arrived, there was a rapid sound of the car whistle, which led the fat man to take it over. But the coroner told him that he was eaten alive by the dog. The fat man was furious, and the police car in the corner made him alert again. In no time, the chubby guy turned around again. He knew it must have been the police cooperating with the coroner, otherwise he wouldn't have had so many living organs. The black police didn't want anyone to know he was doing this kind of thing. After the demonstrator dodged, the black police shot the fat guy from behind, "Fuck you," and then moved the fat guy in. I was originally planning to use the parts of the chubby guy to deliver the goods, but unfortunately it happened to be damaged, and all of this happened to be noticed by Chloe, who was hiding in the ventilation duct. The demonstrator plans to use Chloe and their parts for delivery. After they leave, Chloe and the others will drag the fat man away. All of this was clearly seen by the coroner. The fat man, in order to get out alive, promised to get $25,000 as long as he was rescued. After determining the location, the coroner and the black police used tear gas to drive Koro and his team to a dead end. Ah-T is preparing to launch a surprise attack on the black police, but to his surprise, Wang Ju is behind and Ah-T is dragged away by a corona. The black police noticed that Chloe's position was getting closer and closer, and the demonstrator used Ah-T as bait. Just as Korowi was about to take Athai away, the demonstrator grabbed him from behind and pressed him against the wall, about to dig his eyes out. Chloe picked up the liquid bullet next to him and mercilessly sprayed it on his face. The coroner still rushed forward, but Chloe smashed a bottle into the sky with a star. The coroner grabbed the hacksaw and slashed wildly, but it was all resolved by his clothes. This time, he was caught tightly. Just at the critical moment, the fat man took action, and the coroner turned to chop at him. The fat man quickly handed the dagger to Chloe, who with a click accurately hit the key and sent him to the west. What are the sisters in here? Audie originally wanted the fat guy to pay, but the fat guy said he just saved them too. Everyone is equal, and the chubby guy suggests that as long as they have a way to make him do his job, they can still give them 25,000 grams. I understand. After Chloe also allowed the coroner to experience what it means to be in love with the heart and lungs, the fat man immediately transferred money to Artie. After handing over the box to the chubby man, Chloe handed over the phone that he had only found after a narrow escape to it, and then they both took a car and left together. Although the wicked receive retribution, there are still many thought-provoking issues behind the story. From both a voluntary and a buying and selling perspective, some legalized things can drive people who are beneficial to the heart to walk a tightrope on the high wall of the law, so some things should be stifled in the cradle. Shovel, I think the legalization of organ transplantation will do more harm than good to society. Officer, what do you think?